Hello. Shout out to my fellow Casanovas. This Funkadelic channel serves as a vehicle for me to commit some smooth play Shakespeare. Now, don't let me bogart the intro. Let me give you the skinny on this bomb topic. Did any of that make sense to you? If it did, cool. If it didn't, you're probably from a different generation. Generational gap. That's the topic. Generational gap is what separates a childhood of watching Inch High Private Eye and watching Class of 3000. It's the difference between referring to your favorite song by Cyndi Lauper and your favorite song by Taylor Swift. It's the difference of how you feel when you see this guy and when you see this guy. It's also the difference of how you felt watching Mark Zuckerberg talk to the Senate back in 2018. Specifically, the part where Senator Orrin Hatch asks him about his business model.
Well, if so, how do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
I see.
Now that's a very good question. Think about it. Facebook is a multi-billion-dollar company, yet the service is free. To someone like me, though, I can tell you about ads, sponsors, deals. Facebook is as much a company as a service. And I know that. However, Senator Orrin Hatch doesn't. Not that he's stupid. It's that he just hasn't been exposed to it on the same level as you and I. Let me try another example for you. You go to your local Goodwill, and you see a PlayStation 4 for $75 that's completely working. You've tested it and everything. Good deal, right? You buy it. And you don't even look at the $10 Hot Wheels cars, right? Despite the fact one of them is the 1977 white Z-Wiz car. You're not an idiot for passing it up. You just don't know about it. For the most part, the generational gap is quite harmless. A little inconvenient, but quite harmless. Even if I'm sure your mom or your ex-wife threw away the first edition Charizard you definitely pulled. But when does the generational gap become a problem? I'm not, and I repeat, not talking politically. That's a completely different issue that wouldn't be fun to talk about. So I'm not talking about that. Let me give you a stupid example. Until recently, a very popular nickname for people named Richard was Dick. So the question is, does it bother you if your grandpa calls you Dick? Are you going to correct him? We've established he's not insulting you. He doesn't mean to imply Dick in that way. Do we correct him? He can't just go around calling people Dick, right? Earlier, I mentioned the cartoon Class of 3000. Now the show itself is a very good example. Do you know who Andre 3000 is? Does your dad? If you have kids, do they know who Andre 3000 is? It was a big deal in 2006 when this show launched. But it's not now. And depending on your generation, it could still have been a big deal, or it could mean nothing to you. Now, I could monologue on how underrated Class of 3000 is, because it's a very good show, besides the fact that Andre 3000 is in it. But it leads into a more problematic example. The real reason I bring up Class of 3000 is it premiered on Cartoon Network under the management of Jim Samples, who stepped down in 2007. Why did he? So no cheating. Do you know who this is? If you don't, you're not alone. On January 31st, 2007, this was discovered. A few of them. And the response was panic.
Now you see a map of all the different devices found around the city, from the Longfellow Bridge to the New England Medical Center, from Stewart and Columbus Street in the South End to the first device found at Sullivan Square in Somerville. At times, of course, those devices being found and police responding, it paralyzed the city. But late today, the governor, the mayor, and the police commissioner said there was nothing to worry about and everyone should go about their business.
It took 6 hours, 6, until they were finally identified as characters from the show Aqua Teen Hunger Force on Adult Swim, Cartoon Network. Meant to hype up the upcoming movie, they were being mistaken for bombs. And Jim Samples resigned following this. This unbelievable case of generational gap. Now, I mentioned in a video from 2016, the developers of Watch Dogs did something similar, right? But here's the difference. One had LED markers of characters hyping a movie in public around the area that you would need them. And one of them was a beeping, unmarked safe sent to a news outlet that doesn't report on video games. So it's a whole different ball game. Will there always be a generational gap, though? Yeah. Absolutely. In 1993, there was a congressional hearing where the team behind Night Trap on Sega CD had to explain how in their game, where you defeat vampire-like augurs to save the female cast, didn't actually promote sexual aggression against women like they were being accused of. But here's a better question. What's had a bigger impact on the world? Give me your honest answer. Days of Our Lives or One Piece? That's pretty much all I have, by the way. I feel I've restored a bit of educational value. I've taught a few things today. I've been failing to put that in videos lately, so glad we got that out of the way. Before I go, though, do you remember Kmart? Good old Kmart. Good old wonderful Kmart. Do you remember Walmart when they had the lobster tanks? Dude, I miss the lobster tanks in Walmart. That stuff was flippin' awesome. Also, Class of 3000 is way good, by the way. Like, super good. I know, right? Who would have thought? Andre 3000, great rapper, makes good music. Somehow he makes a cartoon that has good music. Who would have thought? I'm gonna go watch it, okay? Bye. I'm leaving.